Look at the last three people who hurt you the most. Different faces, different names, different cities maybe. Now look closer, and you will find the same architecture underneath every one of them. The same unavailability dressed differently. The same coldness you mistook for depth. The same pattern you have called bad luck so many times that the phrase has stopped meaning anything. This is not luck. This is a signature, and you are the one holding the pen. You were not taught to see this because the culture around you insists that love is chemistry, mystery, something that simply happens to you. That framing is comfortable and it is false. Schopenhauer understood attraction with brutal clarity. What feels like fate is usually the nervous system chasing a familiar wound, mistaking the ache of recognition for the spark of connection. You are not falling for these people. You are being pulled toward a frequency you have been tuned to since long before you met any of them. Phase 1. You are not attracted to them. You are attracted to the task. Somewhere early, likely in childhood, you learned that love had to be earned, chased, or extracted from someone who did not offer it freely. That lesson did not disappear when you grew up. It became a template, and your nervous system now reads unavailability as a signal worth pursuing. Because unavailability feels familiar, and familiar feels, incorrectly, like home. The warmth of someone who is simply present and consistent can feel almost boring by comparison, because it does not activate the old task your mind was trained to complete. This is why the calm, available person is so often overlooked, and the person who runs hot and cold gets all your attention. You are not choosing chaos because you enjoy pain. You are choosing chaos because your mind has confused it with meaning. Notice how quickly your attention snaps towards someone who seems slightly out of reach, and how quickly it drifts away from someone who simply, consistently shows up. This is not a coincidence of taste. It is a nervous system executing old code, mistaking the adrenaline of pursuit for the presence of genuine connection. Phase 2. The pattern hides behind different costumes. If the pattern always looked the same on the surface, you would have spotted it years ago. It does not. It arrives disguised as ambition in one person, as mystery in another, as wounded charisma in a third. The costumes change specifically so you cannot pattern match too quickly and protect yourself. What does not change is the underlying function. Someone who requires you to prove your worth continuously, who withholds just enough to keep you reaching, who makes stability feel like something you have to earn rather than something you deserve by default. Learn to identify the function, not the costume. Ask, early, not do I like this person, but does being around this person require me to perform, chase, or shrink in order to be kept? The answer to that question will tell you more than months of chemistry ever will. Phase 3. Interview the pattern before you interview the person. Before the next relationship begins, sit down and write out in plain language every previous person who hurt you and the specific quality that made you stay far longer than you should have. Do not write what they did to you. Write what kept you there. A pattern will surface with uncomfortable speed, and once it is written in your own handwriting, it becomes far harder to unsee the next time it appears wearing a new face. This is not romantic. It is reconnaissance. You would never enter a negotiation without understanding your own weaknesses first, yet you have entered the highest stakes negotiation of your life. Who gets access to you? Completely unprepared, every single time. Phase 4. Withhold the investment the pattern is counting on. The people who fit your old wound rely on one specific behavior from you. Early, disproportionate investment before they have demonstrated anything close to consistency. You extend trust, warmth, and forgiveness at a pace that outruns the evidence, because the old pattern rewards you for closing the gap quickly. Reverse the order. Require consistency to be demonstrated over time before the investment increases to match it. This single adjustment, applied without exception, will filter out the majority of people who were only ever attracted to how quickly you could be pulled in. This is not coldness, it is sequencing. Warmth given in proportion to demonstrated reliability is not withheld love. It is love that has finally learned to protect itself. Phase 5. Choose boredom on purpose, at least once. At some point, deliberately choose the person who feels calm instead of electric. Sit with the discomfort of that choice, because it will feel wrong at first. Quiet in a way your nervous system will initially read as absence rather than peace. Stay long enough to find out which one it actually is. Most people abandon the calm option before it has any chance to reveal itself as safety rather than boredom, because the old wiring cannot tolerate the silence where the chase used to be. This exercise is not about settling. It is about recalibrating a broken instrument that has been mistaking anxiety for chemistry for years. One that will keep producing the same false readings until you deliberately override it long enough for the calibration to actually shift. What changes when the pattern finally breaks? You will know it has broken not when you stop being attracted to anyone difficult ever again. Some pull will likely always exist. But when you notice the pull and no longer follow it automatically. The recognition arrives faster each time. The willingness to act on old instinct gets shorter. Eventually, the calm option stops feeling like a compromise and starts feeling like what it always was. The only choice that was ever actually good for you. If you saw your own pattern in this, comment, "I see the signature." Naming it, in writing, in your own words, is the first act of interrupting a cycle that has been running silently for years. Subscribe if you're finished mistaking familiarity for fate. There is more to unpack about how these patterns are built, and exactly how to dismantle them before the next person walks in wearing a new costume over the same old shape.